I'm the only one that I had a 20 minutes. Everybody mute. I'm hearing people type. Mute. I shouldn't hear anything right now, please. Everybody mute. I'm the only one that I had a 20 minutes. Everybody mute. I'm hearing. Who is typing right now? Is anybody, please? Anybody?
That's usually Rick.
Okay, we're good. I think we're all good. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Judge Bonnie Jangel, judge of the 171st Judicial District Court. It is 1:03 p.m., 6/24/2020. In case you all haven't noticed, we're living in the midst of a crisis pandemic, COVID-19. And because of that, the Texas Supreme Court has allowed Texas courts to hold hearings via Zoom and YouTube Live. If there is anyone participating at this hearing that does not want to participate in YouTube Live, oh, we lost Mr. Harris.
Oh, I'm here.
Somebody is, oh, it says Cliff Harris, Patricia Harris, and somebody else Harris. These are all the defendants in that case. That's what it is.
Yeah, all of them are Harris.
Thank you. Thank you. I just saw Harris, so I thought it was you, Mr. Bobby. I'm sorry. If there is anyone participating in this hearing this afternoon that does not want, that objects to proceeding via Zoom and YouTube Live, please let me know right now verbally. Please. Let the record reflect that there is no objection from anyone. I want everybody to further understand and realize that Ms. Anita Garza is present. Here comes Mr. Nunez, finally, Mr. Martinez. Ms. Garza is present as my court reporter, as well as my court coordinator, Becky Gonzalez, and my bailiff, Rick Salazar, who is going to monitor people coming in and out. I'm going to further instruct you all, please do not record these proceedings. I can hold you in contempt of court if you do record them. Remember, the only recording is the official court reporter's record. Now, there's the options bar on the bottom. I'm going to let you all participants know that. There's a bar on the bottom. If you want to go into a breakout room to speak to another attorney or to speak to your client, just ask me for permission. I'll be more than happy to allow you to do that. I need to set up the breakout rooms anyway. Okay, with that being said, is there anybody here that does not understand those instructions or again does not wish to proceed? What, Rick?
I sent a chat to Galaxy A20. I still haven't gotten a response from him.
Let me see. I lost Galaxy. Oh, there he is. You know what, Rick? He did not enter with audio capability. He just has the video, so I can't unmute him. I can't do anything. He just has his audio on, but not his I'm sorry. He has his video on, but not his audio. Can you see him?
I can see him, and I have sent him a chat to see who he is, but I haven't gotten a response from him.
Let me see what I can do. Yeah, but you can't really see him very well. There he is. What is your name, Galaxy A20? You've entered without any audio capabilities, sir. I think you're going to have to leave and come back in. Is that what you told him, Rick?
I just asked him who he was, but he hasn't. I really don't think he could even hear us.
Tell him he has to admit. He has to leave and re-admit, because I don't think you can turn. Well, he might be able to turn his audio on, but we won't. Tell him to turn his audio on first, Rick. That he could do, possibly. I'm letting Erev Nunez in. Okay. The first case we're going to begin with, Rick, let me know if you continue to have problems with this gentleman, whoever he may be. Please, Rick. Okay, we're starting on page 5. And we're starting with Ivan Uriel Miranda. That's you, Mr. Avelar, I think, because it's Mr. Underwood. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time for cause number 2018-5059, Ivan Miranda, announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage ready.
Daniel Avelar for Ivan Miranda, Judge.
Good. Okay, so what are we talking about this case? Can we work out a deal? Hang on, Mr. Nunez. Mr. Galaxy, I just found Mr. Galaxy, 820.
I don't know who that is.
I believe that's my client, Daniel Solis. I just talked to him on the phone. He says he has the picture, but he can't hear, he can't see.
Yeah, see, he's entering. Tell him, Mr. Vasquez, he's entering in with no audio capability.
Well, he doesn't have the capability.
No, he has to have it. If there's video, there's audio.
Okay, I mean, he is using a Galaxy phone, so I
No,
think
it
he's gonna
doesn't
try
matter.
again, or he's trying, but I'll be
Tell him
talking
to
to him.
Yeah,
Until we
tell him
figure
to
it
try
out.
one more time, or if you want, after one more time, Mr. Vasquez, you can just have him on the phone. Here he is, he's coming back in. You can have him on the phone and he can hear and we can talk to him too if we need to. He's joining again. Let me see. He again does not have audio capability. I've
Okay.
allowed him in on video, but no audio. So just tell him you be on the phone with him and put him on
Okay.
speakerphone. Okay,
I'll
Mr.
do
Vasquez?
that.
And
Okay,
then you can practice with him later for video and audio. Okay,
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Sorry to
Mr.
interrupt.
Nunez. Yes, no worries. Okay, we're back with Mr. Miranda. Yeah, Mr. Miranda. Mr. Nunez, what do we have there? What's the offer?
Your Honor, the current offer on the table is 5 years deferred probation.
I'm
$500
sorry, Judge.
fine.
Judge, did you
$300
ask if
community service.
they recognized each other, client and attorney recognized each other?
Thank you. I appreciate that, or let him waive it. Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate that. Mr. Avelar, where is your client? Is he with you?
I thought he was on here because he was
Yes, he
calling,
is
but
on. He does have a screen, kind of like a screen cover right now. Ivan Miranda. He's on mute.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am here.
Mr. Miranda, there you are, right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you take off your screen? Looks really stunning. Look at this, Miss Brown. Talk about reinventing an image. Look at Mr. Miranda's.
Give me a second.
Mr. Miranda, where are you, sir? You've disappeared now. There you go, sir. You have a wonderful, there you go. You've disappeared again. There you are.
He's on mute.
Mr. Miranda, can you unmute, please?
Yes, give me one quick second.
Okay, now, thank you, Rick. Mr. Avelar, do you see and recognize your client, Mr. Miranda, as the defendant in this case?
I sure do, Your Honor.
Good. And Mr. Miranda, do you see and recognize your attorney?
Yes, he is with White and Underwood, right?
Yes, he is.
Hey, Daniel.
What's up, brother?
Okay, so what's happening in this case again? 5 years deferred. I think I interrupted you 3 times, Mr. Nunez. I apologize.
No worries, Your Honor. It's a $500 fine, 300 hours of community service,
I'll get up and get it.
a TAP assessment.
Mr. Avelar, I can hear you. You're going to talk, Mr. Avelar, over there. Put on mute.
No, I'm listening, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
No, that's not the issue, Mr. Avelar. The issue is I can't hear very well. The court reporter can't hear very well when you're speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. So if you're going to speak to your staff or to whoever over there, just put yourself on mute because you can still hear.
I apologize.
No worries. I'm teaching Zoom. Okay, go ahead. Okay. 100 hours community service, I think you said. No, $100 fine.
$500 fine, Your Honor.
Got it.
300 hours of community service, a TAP assessment, forfeiture of a weapon, UABA curfew, reimbursement to DPS for drug testing, and then we'll dismiss the UCW, an unlawful carrying of a weapon.
Mr. Avelar, what are you thinking about that, sir?
Yeah, that's a decent rec, Judge. We had issues with the legal matters in this case. Right before COVID, on March 9th, we had some kind of a meeting. I don't know if it was at the courthouse, but we spoke with both Ivan and David, and we were wanting to go on a suppression, and then the pandemic happened, Judge. And so here we are now.
Do you want a motion to suppress? I mean, I can
think
still
so.
give you I can give you a motion to suppress, Mr. Avelar. We can do it. I have a motion. Don't I have a motion to suppress? Is that on Friday, Miss Becky? No, I have an outcry.
Outcry hearing.
I have an outcry.
Yeah, but we're starting to set them now.
I'm setting motion to suppress, Mr. Avelar. So you're not forced to take anything, sir. The only issue might be the DA's office taking the rec off the table because of the MTS, but you
It
know,
might.
that's your
Okay, well,
prerogative.
We understand.
Do you want to proceed with an MTS?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very well. Are you going to react in any way to this MTS, Mr. Nunez?
Well, obviously the offer would be taken off the table if it does proceed, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to let Mr. Avelar know that's the fair thing to do. Okay, Mr. Avelar, we're gonna set this up for an MTS as soon as we can. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're gonna get Zoom instructions, you're gonna get notices that you're gonna give to the your participating witnesses, and I think we're gonna be okay. It's not document intensive. I don't think any motion to suppress is document intensive, right?
Not usually.
I know, but is this one document intensive?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, good, we can do it. Okay, we're gonna set it up as soon as we can, Mr. Avelar.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Anything else in this case, sir?
Nothing further.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Avelar, did you have any more, sir?
I do. Just one more.
Okay, you have Joshua Carrera, right?
That's correct.
At
Yes,
this time,
ma'am.
for cause number 2019-4173, Joshua Carrera. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State ready.
Daniel Avelar for Joshua Carrera, Judge.
Mr. Carrera is not on the screen. Is he there with you, or are you going to waive his appearance, Mr. Avelar?
Can I move to waive, Judge? And I think we're going to work this out, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Motion is granted, sir. What is the? Okay, everybody needs to be muted. I'm hearing exterior noises. Mr. Harris, can you mute, or is it going to be too difficult for you to unmute later?
It'll be very, very difficult, and we're not making a sound here.
Okay, I'm trusting that. Somebody's
dog is-
squeaky.
My
Somebody's
dog is
squeaky.
asleep at my feet, so
Are
I'm
you
not making
sure?
no
Because
sound.
I heard a dog bark.
Nope, he's
Okay.
asleep.
Okay, okay, I heard a squeaky door and I heard a dog. So everybody
Nope.
please mute. And it wasn't Mr. Harris, everybody, okay?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, what are we looking at with Joshua Carrera, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, I remember speaking with he may or may not have a plea offer, but the or a plea agreement, but the recommendation is 24 months straight probation on all counts. Will be a reduced misdemeanor.
Miss
Or-
Anita, are you getting all of that?
No, ma'am.
I know, between the squeaky dog, the exterior noise, your bad internet, Mr. Nunez, I'm not getting a darn thing either.
Judge,
Oh,
I'm
Yes,
just
you
gonna,
need to speak a little louder, Mr. Nunez, please.
yes, absolutely. Your Honor, I'm going to
What
try.
again?
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation on the table here is the evading with a vehicle be reduced to a Class A evading. So it'd be a misdemeanor. The state jail felony would be reduced to a 1240 B. And then there's also a DWI second in this case, Your Honor. The recommendation is all misdemeanor probation at 365 days probated for 24 months. 150 hours of community service,
How many hours of community service?
150,
Okay.
a $500, Your Honor.
You're coming in and out, sir. Is your video off, Mr.?
It is, Your Honor.
It is? Okay. Yeah, because you're still coming in and out. Okay, go ahead, sir.
A $500 fine, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Drug counseling. And then all other terms and conditions of probation for a DWI second to include the 3 days ACOP.
Okay. Mr. Avelar, what are you thinking about that, Rick?
We gladly accept, Your Honor.
Oh, excellent. Can we set it up for a plea, sir?
Please.
Okay, we're gonna do that now. I'm hoping we can do these non-custodial in-person pleas by July 15th. You've heard my speech, so hopefully we can start then. Okay, Mr. Avelar?
In person, please, to include counsel.
In-person pleas to include counsel, absolutely. And we're gonna do, hopefully they're gonna allow that, hopefully. I got put off a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago. And we're gonna handle pleas like 20 minutes every plea. So I'm not gonna handle like 85 pleas or they're all set at 1 o'clock. We're gonna handle a plea in person, non-custodial, every 20 to 25 minutes. And my staff will be cleaning the courtroom between every plea. We have marked our courtroom for social distancing with 15 feet apart, not 6, not 10, 15 feet apart from everybody. And we will handle one plea at a time. There will probably be no more than 5, 6 people, including the criminal clerk, myself, the court reporter, your client with no entourage of people by himself or herself, and yourself.
Yes,
That's how
ma'am.
we're going to do, please. And I hope we can start them July 15th. Let's hope. So I have all those safeguards in place, you guys. And hopefully, I'm getting feedback again. And hopefully, Mr. Rick, we don't have the screens yet from facilities, do we? The screens in the courtroom?
No, no screens.
Plexiglass? There should be
No.
plexiglass. They have measured for plexiglass everywhere. So hopefully it'll be there by July 15th. We don't know. So I think that's plenty of safeguards where I think we will all feel safe. And of course, I'm gonna put in another little disclaimer. Mr. Harris, people like you and me, I won't feel unsafe anymore. But if somebody still feels unsafe with those safeguards, right? If you still feel unsafe, let me know. Or maybe your client is an old client and feels unsafe, let me know and we'll just wait until everybody feels safe and we can do it, okay? So that's my plan, everybody. Don't be shy. Don't be shy to let me know if indeed your client or you feel unsafe. I don't want to move my docket at the risk of people being in fear and feeling unsafe, okay? So everybody will have the opportunity to tell me, please. That's the plan, Mr. Avelar, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
What else? Anything else, sir?
That's it.
I know I gave you much more than what you asked for, right? Just answer the question.
No, you're good, Judge. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Y'all might be excused. Be safe out there. Thank you.
Be safe. Be
You're
safe.
done. Somebody's giving me feedback. I may have to mute all, which includes you, Mr. Harris. I
Yeah,
don't
that
want
one
to
is
do
coming,
that.
that one is coming from Mr. Harris. He keeps on lighting up every once in a while.
Yeah. Some noise is coming from you, Mr. Harris.
Not a sound, not a
Okay.
squeak.
But yeah, I know, but you're spotlighted. When you are spotlighted on Zoom, that means Zoom is getting some kind of noise from you. So Zoom is picking you up. You're highlighted the whole time. I have your beautiful face right in my face right now. So there's
Thank
some noise going on over there that Zoom is picking up. Right, Rick?
Yeah, I'm getting it also.
Okay. Okay, the next one is Monica Garcia, public defender. Who's that you, Miss Brown?
Yes, Your Honor.
At this time, court calls number 2018-5144. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez from the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Patricia Brown on behalf of Monica Garcia, ready, Your Honor. And I'd like to waive her appearance.
You're waiving her presence, Miss Brown?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Very well. So waived. So waived. Before we get into the logistics of this settlement conference, Miss Brown, I got an email that she turned herself, she was in the hospital. She
Yes, Your Honor.
hospitalized herself at UBH.
She did, Judge.
Okay, good for her. I'm proud of her. Good for her. Is she out yet?
She is, Your Honor. And just so you know, she's in the Takumi program through EHN. And so the caseworker and I spoke yesterday. She did go to her doctor's appointment yesterday, as well as she's on track to continue with her care. And she's been doing really well, as well as, go ahead, Judge.
Can you tell me a little bit what happened? Did she just have a breakdown or can you tell me what happened?
Of course, Judge. Ms. Garcia does have pretty severe mental health issues, but she's really good about recognizing them ahead of time. And she asked her father to take her to UBH. And so she stayed there for about 3 days, and then they released her with some follow-up appointments. So
Excellent.
doing
Excellent.
everything she's supposed to do.
I'm proud of her. That's awesome. Okay. Have you given these mental health issues to Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, and just to follow up as well, I did speak with Ms. Rita Blanco. She reached out to me this morning and said that Ms. Garcia is also doing really well in her PR bond.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let me tell you, PR bond is really being very diligent about giving me summaries if somebody's not behaving. So I didn't get a summary on her. And I didn't know because if maybe she was still in the hospital, right? Or if she's behaving. So I'm glad to hear she's behaving, Ms. Brown. Thank you.
Thank you,
for
Judge.
that update. Mr. Nunez, what's the deal on this case? What's the offer, if anything?
Your Honor, I think this case is just headed to trial. We've had a lot of hearings on this. It started off at 5 TDC. Then it went down to 2 TDC. Then it was probation with safety, and those were declined by Garcia. The notes I have, I mean, it looks like I believe Brown announced ready for trial, and I think that's where it's headed.
And
Well,
Your Honor,
go ahead, Ms. Brown. Go ahead.
this is a case where I think in person, I've definitely yelled at ADA Nunez and ADA Martinez to give her probation with the mental health caseload. I know I've yelled at them and I won't yell at them today, but I will ask again for that same thing without safety. I have talked to ADA Martinez. He said, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do it, but go ahead and talk to my supervisor. I talked to his supervisor. He was a no. Judge, you were also a no, sadly, but I'm hoping that change. So,
Ms. Brown, that was my question. Remind me, why safety, and why was I on board with safety? Was there a recent drug use?
not a recent drug use, Your Honor. It's my understanding that in previous hearings, the court was under the impression that my client had a drug problem. However,
Remember that picture? She has the paint all over her face.
Picture with paint all over her face.
Remember?
Oh, this is what I said. Yeah.
yes, Your Honor.
Why, Miss Brown? And I've not been able to convince you, obviously. She's an inhaler. And that does damage to your brain. So I'm not surprised she's got mental illness. My concern is there going to be future use, and how is she? Yeah. She's an inhaler. That's permanent.
Along everyone's heartstrings, Judge, eventually, because Ms. Garcia is doing a fantastic job. I haven't heard anything about any drug use. You know, I respect the court's opinion on that, but she's the perfect candidate for a mental health intensive probation.
How long has she been on a PR bond?
This time, Your Honor, I believe, I want to say it's about 6 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you adamant, Mr. Martinez or Mr. Nunez? Are you adamant about safe P just because the judge is adamant?
Judge, that was our compromise offer. We truly believe that she should go to prison for what she's done.
I just muted you, Mr. Harris. I'm getting too much feedback. I'm sorry.
You muted also, Mr. Martinez.
Well, he needs
Coincidence? I don't know.
What?
No, as far as muting me, I'm sorry. Oh, but no, honestly, you know, this is the case where she led the police on the chase from El Paso to the Border Patrol checkpoint.
Oh, that's what you had to have told me. That's what you should have told me. Yeah.
Right.
No.
And Your Honor, I have been very adamant, and I respect the district attorney, but I mean, this is because of mental health issues. There was no one on the road. I have seen the district attorney's office give probation in cases where there have been stabbings. You know, this is a case where she has no felony criminal history. There isn't evading with a vehicle. And so I think we need to treat it as an evading. I've seen the district attorney's office offer plenty of probation recs on evadings, where the people have taken the cops on dangerous chases. And Your Honor, I respectfully disagree with the district attorney. And I think this is a great probation case for Ms. Garcia. And if not, unfortunately, we'll have to a jury, but I do respect y'all's opinion, but Ms. Garcia will be great on probation, and that's what she needs to help her with her mental health issues.
Well, let me respond to that every case is different. I don't know about these other cases that she's speaking about, but in this case, TDC is the correct rec.
Okay, and I respect both of your opinions. I have always said this, Ms. Brown, and I know you respectfully disagree, but in these set of facts, it was pretty egregious, right? It was pretty egregious. The experience that I've had being a drug court judge, people with inhalant abuse, it presents a whole new set of issues. And that's why I think I wanted to give her just a little bit of support with SafeP, so that she knows how to handle that inhalant addiction. But you have respectfully disagreed since the very beginning. So you're right. I agree. I think this is a case that's going to have to be put on the trial docket, and we're going to try it in 5 years. Whenever we try it, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. We're not going to be in a trial setting for a long, long, long time.
I understand, Judge. And I'm hoping that I hopefully can,
Convince them. Convince them to
rebrand Ivan's decision. So maybe.
You know what? While this is going on,
And I'll work on Miss Brown.
Exactly.
Deal. That's fair.
Exactly. You know, my attitude about this may change a bit if she takes, and I don't know how much it's going to change Mr. Martinez's or Mr. Nunez or the public or the district attorney's office as a whole. But if she takes a proactive, because this is going to take at least a year. At least a year. If she goes to some kind of a drug rehab, Aliviane, I mean, somewhere, some drug rehab program, and she stays clean and sober on her PR bond during the whole I may reconsider the SafeP component. Now you're going to have,
Judge.
okay, you're going to have a job because the ADAs think this is a pen trip situation. So,
Well, Judge, I think you're very convincing, and I think you might be able to convince Mr. Martinez.
Well, maybe, but she needs to be proactive. She needs.
I don't know about that, Portia. She hasn't been able to convince you to take SafeP.
True, Mr. Martinez.
Yeah.
True, but Judge, I'll look into that, and we'll see where we're at.
Maybe. Right. And I don't want to misguide you. I'm just telling you what changed my mind, right? I can't speak for the district attorney's office, but I would be more inclined to drop the SafeP, and I would try to convince them, but it may or may not work. But nevertheless, it's going to be a benefit for your client, Ms. Garcia, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I don't think we need any more settings in this case. I think we've had enough, right? I think
yes, Judge.
A point where this is going to be put on the trial docket list for a jury trial, and let's see when we try it, and that'll give you time to proactively do what you need to do to mitigate her punishment in this case. Okay, Ms. Brown?
That sounds great, Judge. I think Mr. Martinez has one other thing, hopefully.
Mr. Martinez,
I know I've broached this subject in the past about, and I think whether or not the defense would be willing to agree to a bench trial. Right. And I think it all depends
on what?
Well, I mean, on where you are as far as what you believe to be the appropriate punishment. I mean, right now, I don't think she'd agree. She'd be like, oh, I don't think it's a good idea at all.
Okay, right. And I don't blame either side. You know, they'd want to know what my feelings are, but I've already been very candid, and I've told everybody that I may change my mind if those conditions exist, right?
Right.
So with that being said, Mr. Martinez, maybe you guys wouldn't agree to a bench trial.
Well, what I'm saying is, if it came to that, you know, we could just do an open plea. We put on the evidence, and then, you know,
Ms. Brown, what are you thinking of, an open plea or bench?
Judge, based on your candor previously, I mean, if that's the route we go, it's definitely an option. The goal is probation, so I'm open. I'm very open to that.
Okay. Very well. Very well. Okay. Think about that. Talk to your client about it, and then let us know. We'll set it up for a bench, or we'll set it up for an open plea. Those are the two options right now. Okay.
Thank you,
Ms.
Judge.
Brown. So let us know. Otherwise, we're going to keep it on the trial docket. I think those are two good solutions, Mr. Martinez. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You may be excused. Thank you. Bench trial or open plea? Casas. Josefina Casas.
That's me, Your Honor.
At this time, where are you, ma'am? I don't.
I'm waiving her presence, Your Honor, unless you want her to show up. She's a lady that usually shows up.
I didn't recognize your voice, sir. That's why I didn't know who you were. You were the actual defendant or who you were. At this time, court calls cause number 2018-5578, Josefina Casas, announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Felix Castellano for Ms. Casas is ready as well, Your Honor, and I'm waiving my client's presence.
Very well. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what are we doing with Ms. Casas?
Your Honor, the last rec on the table was 1244B times.
B? Did you refuse that, Mr. Castañon?
I
served
believe we did.
44B?
I believe we did, Your Honor. Given the facts of the case and the complainant has been very vocal in calling the DA's office and my office and telling them that he lied. Given that situation, we did reject it. At one point, I think I even suggested to Mr. Nunez that I guess Mr. Martinez was unwilling to consider dismissal. I said that Mr. Martinez should try it. So I think we're at a trial.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, I think that's very fair.
Yes,
If you
I think so.
don't want to give the offer, then if you don't want to give a good offer, then you need to try the case. What do you think about that, Mr. Martinez?
I'm sorry, Judge, I stepped away for a second. I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Castañon made a very interesting proposition. If you're not agreeing to what he is asking, which of course he thinks is reasonable, then you should try the case.
I'm sorry, which case we're talking about? This is
Casas.
And Your Honor, I thought we had also mentioned a bench trial on this one. I might be mistaken. But that is also an option we're willing to throw out.
What about a bench trial, Mr. Castañon?
I ran it by her, and you know, I'm always a little weary when Mr. Martinez offers a bench trial, Your Honor. So I don't know. There's something about a bench trial, but obviously I've known the court in practice in front of you, Judge, for 20 years. But I think just given the nature of this case, I'd rather try it in front of a jury.
He gets a little nervous. He gets nervous, Mr. Martinez. Mr. Martinez, he doesn't trust me as much as you trust me.
Judge, you know, he's right. You know, the complaining witness has told us he doesn't want to press charges. It's all a big misunderstanding. You know, but the fact of the matter is we believe that we can prove the case
Without him. Okay.
without him.
That's your prerogative, sir. Okay. So I guess on this one, we have gone round and round as well. I think we just need to put this on the trial docket. Mr. Castañon and Mr. Martinez and Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
I just can't see. I just think it's a little bit really, Mr. Castañon, and if you can do something, but to turn down a 1244B time served.
And Your Honor, I mean, if the state's willing to, I mean, I'll talk to her again. I know she has a lot of medical problems, so her main concern was having to do more time, but time served, and then she still takes care of the complainant, and he's a handful, and so.
And this is a misdemeanor, and to risk all of that when the DA's office says they can establish it without him, that's kind of scary.
Well, the thing is I strongly disagree with that assertion that they can try without him, because I mean, there's no excited utterance, and then the medicals, I think I don't remember what they indicated. So I just.
Mr. Martinez, what do you have other than the complaining witness? Because you may not have the complaining witness. So what are you talking about when you say you can prove it without the complaining witness? What do you have? Mr. Martinez or Mr.
I'm looking at it now, Your Honor.
Okay. Rick, I'm allowing a gay.
Okay, here we go.
Hang on.
In the EMS records,
Rick,
the complaining witness states that he was beat up by the defendant. And we have visible injuries. And the fact of the matter is she's been convicted of this before.
So you're saying the visible injury in a previous conviction?
Well, no. Obviously, I don't know about the previous conviction coming in here. But I'm just saying that
it doesn't come in.
I think there's case law on that, Your Honor, on the medical records, that any assertions like the defendant or my boyfriend did this, if they're not for medical treatment, that they can be redacted. I mean, what they need to know is I got hit on the head or what have you. Just a general, I got beat up. And
hang on, Mr. Castañon, Mr. Martinez said visible injury. So I'm thinking photos. I'm not thinking medical records.
Well, I mean, it's not like.
Do you have photos?
Like she beat the holy hell out of him, but there are injuries that you can see. What I'm getting at is, and I understand what Mr. Castañon is saying, is that in the medical records, she says, hey, I've been assaulted. But then she goes on to say, I was assaulted by the defendant. And I think what Mr. Castañon is saying is that, well, that information can be parsed out Of course, I would disagree with that. I think that the court can make a determination that that is part of a legitimate diagnosis for the doctors to find out. But anyway, that's what we're getting at, Jordan.
Okay,
In this
well,
video, I mean,
go
I
ahead.
normally object to any of these videos that are taken after the fact, but I think in this case, I'd want to play it for the jury because he's very calm. And then when the police officers ask him, "Did you feel pain?" he scoffs and then he kind of laughs and he says, "Come on, man." He's like, he indicates that he didn't feel pain. He's kind of like annoyed with the whole thing. And so pain is a factor. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like the guy. But anyways, Your Honor,
he has blood on his face, and I think on this one, Judge, you'll agree that this is recent blood, not old blood.
Okay, I don't know.
Right. I know that was an issue last time.
Yeah. But this is a different case.
Right.
Okay. This is what I'm going to tell you guys, and you guys can continue to negotiate. I don't think I would allow in a medical record, I was assaulted by the defendant, because that does not have to do with a medical diagnosis. I was assaulted by the defendant. No. I was hit on the head, or I was hit on the side, or he got my leg. Different story. Different story. But I don't think, unless you give me case law, Mr. Martinez, I don't think I would allow I was assaulted by the defendant. Okay? So just a little bit of food for thought.
And I'll look for appropriate case law, Your Honor.
Exactly. You know, that's all.
But I think that's the crux of it, is that's what I'm saying. With that alone, the officers can testify. They talked with this guy. They saw the injuries. We introduced the records. If that comes in, I think that'd be enough to prove the case.
Okay.
But I understand, Mr. Castañón, like I said, I'll try and look into that.
Right.
Okay.
Look into that part. Look into that part. Okay, Mr. Castañeda, this is a hard call, really, whether you risk a felony conviction with a time served misdemeanor plea, right? Whether or not Mr. Martinez is going to get to where he wants to get to with that other evidence, other than the complaining witness testifying, I think that's questionable, Mr. Martinez.
No, it's close. I mean, I can see courts going either way, just depending.
Right. Okay. So, okay, you guys decide. Do you think we need one more setting in this case, settlement conference, before we put it on the trial docket?
Absolutely. I think by the next setting, I will have found some case law. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't think it's going to be definitive. I don't think it's going to be like, it must be this. I think it's going to be in the court's discretion.
Yeah.
But I'll look and I'll see what I can find.
Great. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Castañón? We'll do it in 30 days. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Martinez, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You may be excused. Daniel Solis is the next one. Mr. Vasquez, court calls cause number 2018-6662. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
And Joseph Vasquez for Mr. Solis, Judge. And Judge, I can call him or I can just waive his presence. I spoke with him yesterday and he understands what's going on and we have the same position. I'll ask for permission to waive his presence.
No problem with that. Granted. Go ahead, Mr. Nunez. What are we looking at in this case, or Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor. Right now, we have had contact with the complaining witness, Your Honor. I have brought her in for pretrial on at least 2 occasions. She has come in, actually, and I think last July is the last time I saw her, because she came in for a jury trial setting. And right now, I just haven't been able to get in contact with her, Your Honor. I know that she lives with, I believe it's her grandparents in Juarez. So right now, it's a little bit of trouble finding them. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was going on to the trial track. I don't have anything in my records saying that there was ever a offer relayed.
Have you ever done an offer in this case, Mr. Vasquez?
We were offered 10 deferred when it's a 2018 case. So way back when I got involved in it, there was a record 10 deferred and it was rejected by my client. Okay. And we are requesting a trial. I think me and Mr. Nunez spoke this morning about the case and I agreed to give him another 30 days to try and make contact. And then if he can't, then we'll discuss the possibility. He's not committing either way. the possibility of a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest. You know, it's almost a year since you've spoken to the complaining witness. They're in Juarez, a lot could have happened and you know, yeah. I think that's a good route to go. Try to find the complaining witness. You want to set up for a Wednesday, we can do that. But let's have one more settlement conference. I think we're close to maybe settling this case, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
One
Thank
more settlement conference, 30 days. Gentlemen, is that okay? Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Absolutely. You all may be excused. The next one are the Harrises, all the three Harrises. I'm going to take them all together. Mr. Harris, Bobby Harris, can you unmute? Or let me see if I can help you unmute over here. Sometimes this allows me.
Judge, wait, when you say you're going to take the Harris, are you referring to Patricia Harris or?
All of them. All of them.
All three of them.
All of them. I'm going to take all of them. Yes. Okay, Mr. Harris, you're with us now. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-3213, 3217, the state of Texas versus Patricia Harris, 2019-3214, Dakota Harris, 2019-3215 and 3216, Clifford Harris. Announcement of counsel on all those cases, please.
Your Honor, it's Aaron Sella for the state. I'm ready to proceed, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
Robert Harris for Dakota Harris, and we are ready, Your Honor.
Sebastian
Felix
Nunez.
Castañon. Oh, go ahead, Sebastian. Sorry about that.
Sebastian Nunez here on behalf of Patricia Harris, ready to proceed, Judge.
And lastly, and I apologize for the interruption, Felix Castañon for Clifford Harris.
Now,
Ready
it's
to proceed, Your Honor.
good. It's my understanding. Hang on one second. Rick, I'm allowing a Gabriel in. Will you follow him?
And you also have Clifford Harris on the screen, okay, Judge?
I think I have all three of them, I think, but let's
Yes.
see. Thank you. Joshua Javier Carrera, I'm allowing in too, Rick. So follow those two.
And
Okay, Harris is,
an attorney, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Becky.
Gabriel Cianes is an attorney.
Okay, we have the Harrises. Can you put your video on, Harrises?
Judge, I've tried and it seems to be not working.
Who spoke to me right now?
This is Cliff Harris.
Okay, Mr. Clifford Harrison, you are here represented by Mr. Castañon, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Castañon, did you recognize that voice to be Clifford Harris, the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. And I spoke to him before the hearing and he explained to me that they were all going to share a cell phone. So that's him and that's his number.
Very good. Now I want to speak to Robert Dakota Harris. Can you say good afternoon? How's everyone today?
Good afternoon. How's everyone today?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Harris, Bobby Harris, do you recognize that voice as Robert Dakota Harris, the defendant in this case, and your client?
I do, and I spoke to him about 2 hours ago and knew he was going to be there.
Good. Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Robert Dakota Harris, do you see your attorney on the screen as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Patricia Harris, get on and say good afternoon. How's everybody today?
Good afternoon. How's everybody today?
Mr. Nunez, Sebastian, do you recognize that voice as your firm's client and the defendant in this case?
Yes, Judge.
Good. And Ms. Patricia Harris, do you see and recognize?
Are you on Zoom?
Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Who is that speaking?
That's me, Gabriel Cianes. Sorry about that.
Okay. Put yourself on mute, sir, please.
Will do.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sebastian Nunez, did you recognize Patricia Harris's voice as the voice of your client, your firm's client, and the defendant in her cases?
Yes, Judge.
Very well. Let the record reflect that all defense attorneys and defendants have recognized each other. I thought we would handle them all together because I want consistency and justice with all the co-defendants. So Mr. Nunez, can you talk to me? Mr. David Nunez. I'm going to say Mr. David, okay? And then Mr. Sebastian. Clayton Berry, Rick, I'm allowing in, okay? Is that a defendant that should be in here?
I'll keep an eye out.
Okay. Anybody recognizes a Clayton Berry?
Yes, Your Honor. That is my client, Gabriel Cianes for Claytonberry.
Thank you, sir. I'll admit him. Okay, Mr. David Nunez, what are the offers?
Your Honor, these are my cases.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Setliff. Thank God it's Mr. Setliff. So that way I don't
Yes.
have to say David Nunez and Sebastian Nunez. Mr.
Yes.
Setliff, I forgot, sir. I'm sorry. What are your offers?
So on Dakota Harris, which is 2019 0D03214, the offer is 5 years TDC. On Cliff Harris, he has 2 cases. The offer on the aggravated robbery is 8 years TDC. And the offer for Patricia Harris, I'm sorry, on his drug case, we would 1245 his drug case into the robbery. And then on Patricia Harris, it's also 8 years, and we would 1245 her drug case into the robbery. And I would just let you know, Judge, I think the attorneys will give you their perspectives, but we're in ongoing conversations. It's been a little complicated because there's so many different attorneys and defendants and cases. So, but that's where I'm at now. I'm willing to reappraise the offers. They technically expired last December, but I would honor them for another month or so.
Okay.
As I
Well,
said, I think we have a conversation.
and the reason I set them up, first of all, I like consistency and I like fairness. So it sounds like it's all pretty fair. It's all pretty much there in the same ballpark. Mr. Harris, Bobby Harris, what are you thinking about your offer for your client?
I believe that we are going to turn it down and we are ready for trial.
You're going to try, but you may try to chew it down a little bit. Is that what you said?
We're ready for trial on my client.
Okay. You won't accept anything, Mr. Harris?
At this time, no. I've talked to my clients about time, and we both decided that trial would be okay.
Okay, so you're not going to accept the offer and you don't want to make a counter offer either, Mr. Harris.
Yeah. How about time served or case dismissed with no apology? With no apology.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Fine, Judge.
Okay, I'm trying to settle this case. Okay, Mr. Harris, so I guess I'm going to put this on the trial docket,
Yes.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
For your
Yes.
client. I don't think we need any more future hearings, do we?
No, we don't.
Because you're not going to take anything is what I'm hearing. Okay, Mr. Harris. Thank you. You may be excused, sir.
Thank you,
may
Your
go
Honor.
ahead and be excused. Thank you, sir. What about Miss Patricia Harris?
Judge, one thing before we get into that talk,
Hang on
we did
one
talk.
second, Mr. Hang on. Let's get Mr. Harris off. I'm trying to find Mr. Harris, keeps disappearing. Who's typing? Mr. Harris is, oh, there he is. There. Okay, Mr. Sebastian Nunez, talk to me, sir.
Judge, we did, or Mr. Lozano had a chance to speak to Patricia yesterday. One thing we did want to talk to you about is, from what we understand, is Mr. Carmona was the attorney of record for this case. The issue is he has been conflicted out because of Miss Carmona, Dana Carmona, and I guess her position there with the courts. So we did want to bring it to your attention. The reason for that is because if Omar is going to be conflicted out, we wanted to ask permission for the court to see whether or not one of the other 4 attorneys in our office could be appointed, whether it's myself, Cesar Lozano, Eric Mesa, or Arif Abrar. At that point, Judge, if it's okay with you, we would like to, be appointed. And if not, well, the only other solution would be to withdraw.
Yeah, Mr. Sebastian, I keep wanting to call you Mr. Sebastian, even though Mr. Nunez is not involved in this case. I apologize.
I understand, Judge.
Really, the one to ask these questions to is your client.
And we did. I mean, she did inform us that she would like for us to stay on, Judge. We know, just as protocol, we still wanted to bring it to the court's attention.
All right. And I think we need to get something on the record, Mr. Setliff, right? That she waives any objections in the future regarding this conflict right? We need to get her affirmatively on the record stating all of that. She waives the conflict. She understands their possible conflict. She understands the conflict with Omar, Mr. Carmona, and his wife, and she waives it all, and she wants the Carmona law firm to represent her. At that point, I would have no problem. I would have no problem having you all, right? And you guys are very ethical attorneys. If you see a conflict arise, I trust and I know that you'll withdraw. If
Yes,
and
sir.
when a conflict in the future should arise because of Omar's presence. So, Mr. Setliff, are you okay with everything I just said?
I am, Judge. I just want to create the record, the specific potential conflict, and there isn't an actual conflict at this moment.
Right,
The specific
okay.
is that Dana Carmona is now the chief of the Board of Prosecution Unit, so she's my direct supervisor, and she has a close relationship with Omar, and so I think it does make sense.
Sure, I didn't know that. Congratulate Mr. Carmona's wife, please, Mr. Nunez. That's awesome.
So I would that Omar not represent Patricia, and that they do a firewall as they would. But I'm fine with, after those admonishments, someone else in the firm representing.
Right, right. And I think, Mr. Nunez, what we have to do, and she's got to participate by video for this, okay?
I understand.
Just a basic, I understand, and I waive. And I want the Carmona law firm to represent me. So we can do that, set it up in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, practice with her so that she can participate by video, and we'll do that, and one of you guys stay on. Absolutely.
Sounds good, Judge.
Okay. So what are you thinking about her offer, the 8 TDC?
With regards to the ATDC, I mean, I think we are of the position, and I don't know if Mr. Setliff knows, we aren't in agreement with the ATDC, Judge. That's something that we've been in communications with Mr. Setliff, so we're hoping that at some point, we can keep talking to him and working out the case and go from there, Judge. Okay. But as of right now, we are declining.
Good. Okay. And I can understand that. But Mr. Setliff did make it clear to all you defense attorneys, basically, I'm open to counters, and I'm open to trying to negotiate it. So
we understand, Judge.
You please do that. Please do that. Mr. Bobby Harris didn't want to, but please.
And we definitely will get in contact. We would just like to speak to our clients a bit more before we get back in contact with Mr. Setliff. And we'll definitely get in contact with him, Judge.
Well, let me set this one up for another 30 days or 45 days. How much time do you want, Mr. Nunez, for this?
30 days is fine, Judge.
Okay, settlement conference in 30 days. In 30 days, at that point, sir, I want you to please practice with your client. Make sure she can participate by video, because I want her to waive this conflict.
Okay, we'll do. Okay. Thank you, Judge.
So we don't have to come back twice. We'll just
no problem, Judge. Thank you.
Please. Okay.
Knowing that we're handling all three of these together, I'm in my mind, I'm also thinking of them all three together. So there's some more information that I think I would share with you, but I don't know if you want to talk about it after Clifford. It's not a secret from any of the attorneys or any of the defendants. I just want it to be right.
Tell me now. Tell me now.
So
yeah.
The facts, sure, Judge. The facts are that in the indictment are that the three of them beat up and robbed a guy, and it was at a party. And so there's some other facts, and the attorneys have shared with me information as well. And then after that, there was a search warrant of their house, and so that's why we have the drug cases. And so Dakota, and I don't want to resolve the robbery with any of the cases coming before the others, because I can easily see, as a matter of strategy, reasonable strategy the defense attorneys might employ would be to point the fingers. And so if I've resolved any of them, short of resolving all of them, I will be compromised. And that's what I've told the defense attorneys also. So I think that's why they've kind of all needed to kind of go together or not.
Wow. Well, and that makes me, well, that Mr. Bobby Harris was so adamant about not working out any deal with you. And so with your statement right now, Mr. Setliff, it sounds like, you might not settle with any of them because of Mr. Bobby Harris, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm afraid that's where we're getting to, but there may be room for conversation. It just sounds like that's.
Right. Well, what I'm going to ask you to do, please, of course, offer all of them probably your rock bottom offer. Really, rather than wait, because I know how you you DAs, and I think it's fair. I'm not going to keep offering and offering, you know, and offer against myself. You always like counter offers from these defense attorneys. But in this particular case, because you have Mr. Harris unwilling to work on anything, Mr. Setliff, maybe the best way to handle this, and I can't tell you how to handle your cases, give them rock bottom offers, and everybody, and the part of the deal is everybody takes it or nobody does. Maybe these rock bottom offers will be beneficial and attractive to Mr. Nunez and to Mr. Castañon. Mr. Castañon is the other defense attorney, that they may talk to Bobby about taking it.
That has been the approach so far, and it may continue to evolve. But I haven't done the rock bottom approach, and I
think
will
about
offer probably not quite rock bottom because of the injuries of the victim and the facts. But I'm taking in what you're saying very, very honestly, and I will circle back with the attorneys.
And I have to tell you, defense attorneys, I wish Bobby was still here. I shouldn't have let him go, but he was causing a lot of ruckus on this Zoom, so I wanted to let him go. The facts aren't very pretty. The facts aren't very pretty, defense attorneys. Sounds like it's a pretty bad case at a party, robbed and beat up. Ugh, if those are the facts. I'm just saying. I don't know if these facts are something that I would want to try, but anyway, the facts don't look very pretty. And for Mr. Setliff, I think the injuries were pretty bad. Mr. Setliff, yes?
There were, and I don't want to pull anything on you, Judge. The victim himself has some issues. I would not hide that from the attorneys or you, but there was an independent witness, and so there's some things that give me.
You can work out, hopefully. It sounds like there's bad stuff on both sides, and that's why this could be a case to settle. You understand your shortcomings in your case, and the facts are pretty bad over there, and so hopefully we have good criminal attorneys that hopefully will reach some kind of a decision. And then you guys' job is to work on Mr. Bobby Harris. Everybody, please. Okay, what else? Anything else, Mr. Castañon? Anything you want to add to this?
No, Your Honor, I think Mr. Setliff is correct that I do anticipate, given the nature of the case, that my client would have to testify. Even if he pled, he'd have to testify on his son's behalf. And so I don't see why he would want to do that in his case. And so that's why, you know, I do anticipate a trial as well. And I did discuss it with Mr. Clifford Harris.
Clifford and Robert are father and son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Robert Dakota and Clifford are father and son. Who is Patricia in the relationship?
That's mom. Mom, Your Honor.
Okay.
She's the mom.
Mom, dad, and child. Were they the host in this party?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. It doesn't get better for you, defense attorneys. Those facts don't look very good. But anyway, I'm just telling you guys, I hope you guys settle it. Okay, but it sounds like you might not. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you for giving me the connection.
Yes,
in my mind, really, honestly, I thought they were all like brother and sister. Not mother, father, and son. On a robbery and possession of drug charges. Holy moly. Who's talking? Okay. Mr. Castañon, we're done then? You're okay? We're done?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Mr. Nunez, anything else, sir?
Nothing further, Judge. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to set this up for 30 days. Okay, again, everybody.
It's going to be all of them, Judge?
All of them, including Bobby, including Bobby, because I want Bobby should have heard what he just said.
Right.
So I want Bobby to hear it too. And I'll work on Bobby too.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, goodbye. Have a good life. Be safe.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Nunez. The next one is Nicolette Escobar. I don't think Mr. Ortiz is on. Is somebody on for Mr. Ruben Ortiz? I don't see him.
Judge, I need to explain that one to you.
Well, explain it to me later. He's not on.
Okay,
Explain it to
so
me.
that'll be at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Agustin Tavares, Public Defender. Is that you, Mr. Vasquez or Mr. Castañon? Tavares, Agustin Tavares, whose is that?
That's Ed Hernandez's, Judge.
Oh, Mr. Hernandez, are you there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, at this time, court calls cause number 2018-27-24, 5280, 6196, 2019-32, 3932, announcement of council.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Edward Hernandez, on behalf of Mr. Agustin Tavares, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Carlos Trejo, Probation Department.
Okay, this is a contested status. Mr. Trejo, can you tell me about the email you probably sent me about this gentleman?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me start from the beginning. When placed on probation, Mr. Tavares never reported to the probation department.
Hang on, Mr. Trejo, I'm sorry. Are you going to waive Mr. Trejo's appearance, Mr. Hernandez?
Your Honor, I don't know that we even get to that point. The Mr. Nunez made an offer, and I went to speak to my client yesterday. He's on suicide watch. He's been off medication for 5 months. So I informed Mr. Nunez that he made a generous offer, but I don't believe my client's competent at this point, and I was going to request and file a motion for a competency evaluation, Your Honor. He's just been off meds for too long.
How long is he off meds?
5 months, Your Honor. Now, the jail is giving him intensive medication, but it's going to take a while to stabilize him.
Why was he off medication 5 months? Did he abscond and nobody could find him?
He was like, do I understand he was a Takumi client, but maybe that's not the case. Did he not make it to Takumi or?
Well, let me hear from Mr. Trejo. Start from the very beginning, Mr. Trejo. I'm interested to see what happened now.
Yes, Your Honor. He never reported when placed on probation.
When was he placed on probation?
He was placed on probation November 30th, 2018 for 7 years. July 23rd, 2019, he was arrested for the MTR capias and for 5 new pending cases, Your Honor.
Felonies or misdemeanors or what? Those 5
Felonies, Judge.
Ish. Okay, go ahead.
November 22nd, 2019, we had a bond hearing. He was granted a PR bond, Your Honor, and he was released from custody. So November 25th, 2019, he reported to my office as instructed. He provided a negative UA. But then December 18th, 2019, he had a positive UA with PR bond for meth, amphetamines, and for cocaine. And that's the reason the PR bond was revoked, Your Honor. And he stopped reporting after that.
What are the 5 new cases in July of 2019? Have those been resolved? Those felonies?
Cited, Your Honor.
Those are all the cases I call. Oh, no, we've got 2 more cases. 2019 4250, 2019 5220. Were they all forgeries?
Most of them, you know, I think there's 3 forgeries and a tampering and 1 possession.
So he was, what cases was he put on probation for before the 5 pending felonies, the 5 felonies in July of 2019, Mr. Trejo?
2 forgeries, Your Honor.
Give me the last 4 digits.
Okay, 2724.
Got it.
That's count 1 and 2. And then 2018 005280.
Got it. Okay.
That is an assault.
Yeah, all the rest have been indicted. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, doesn't look good. This is the problem, Mr. Hernandez. And you know I'm the most sympathetic person with mental health issues, but when it gets to 5, 6, 7 felonies that they commit because they don't do their meds, there's not much I can do to help at that point.
And I understand
the problem, right?
I went to go speak to him about, hey, you've got these cases and we're going to negotiate. But when I found him, he's been off medication for so long now. He decompensated. I
We
told him,
have-
look, I'm gonna request an evaluation, and he understands. I mean,
We have two options. Either we wait until we try to stabilize him with meds and he's competent, or the motion for competency now. Why can't we wait to see if we can stabilize him with meds for 2
would that be
weeks?
fine, Your Honor? If we could come back in maybe a month or something, just to give it time for his medication, because they're giving him a lot of medication. now.
Right, and then at that point, we'll be better equipped to assess whether or not we can stabilize him or not. And then if we need a comp, you can do one at that time, no worries. What is the offer? What is the agreement? I think you said that you've reached an agreement.
It's an offer, not an agreement, Your Honor, because I couldn't, I couldn't talk to my client.
Okay, I get it. What is it? What's the offer?
They'd offered 5 TDC, Your Honor. Obviously, we would counter offer, but I really need to talk to my client.
Okay. And I think I agree. I think I agree with the state. I think this is a time wreck. I do. I think this is a time wreck. He has too many felonies under his belt.
And Your Honor, it's 5 years TDC, 2 years on the state jail, and there is also a P-file case. So it's another fraud case that was picked up on May 1st, 2020.
Yes. And I'll go see my client before the next setting, Your Honor, just see how he's doing and discuss with him the state's offer.
And Mr. Hernandez, I think you're diligent. Make sure he's getting his meds in the jail. He's not refusing them, and tell him the impact of his refusal. Okay.
Yeah, Wellbutrin, Trazodone, Geodone.
Got it. Oh God, those are antipsychotic.
Right, a lot.
Those are a lot of antipsychotics. So yeah, that's heavy duty stuff. Okay. Now, before I let you off, we're done with this case, right? Well, Mr. Trejo, the probation department, you still want to work with this guy? Or you think time wreck is a good deal?
Your Honor, if the court allows for him to continue on probation, the probation department would recommend for him to be screened for one of our centers, even that he had a positive UA with your mom.
For the math, yeah. Okay. I think I agree with the district attorney's office. I think he just needs time. He needs to serve time. He can't behave. He can't behave. His mental instability, his mental illness does not allow him to behave. And he refuses to be mentally stable and take meds while he's out in the free world. So I think I agree with the ADAs in this case. Now, we'll set it up for we'll do another 30 days, right, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, that should be enough time for medication to take effect.
Nunez, you're okay with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, before you leave, Mr. Hernandez, I just wanted to talk to you about Lopez. Did you hear from Mr. Artemio that Mr. Lopez's appointment is not the 27th? Because that's a Saturday. It's the 26th.
I know I was informed by Ms. Gonzalez today, Your Honor, and I was at the jail all day yesterday visiting my clients like this one. But let me go ahead, and I saw an email back from the coordinator in CCR4 who said he was going to talk to the judge about it and then get back to me because I had to remind the judge what he had said.
Wrong.
Let me see if I can call back. If not, I'll call him right now.
Just remember, he needs to be out. I don't want him to miss the Friday appointment. Otherwise, I keep him again.
Yes, Your Honor. And I'm keeping this court informed of my communications with that court.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I just wanted to give you heads up, sir. Thank you. Have a great day. You may be excused.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. The next one is Joel Humberto Duque Perez. And that's Mr. Bill Hicks. At this time, court calls cause number 2018-5069. Joel Humberto Duque Perez. Announcement of council, please.
Ivan Martinez for the state.
Hello, Judge. How are you this afternoon? Bill Hicks over. Bill Hicks for Mr. Duque Perez.
Mr. Hicks, thank you so much. Are we waiving Mr. Duque Perez's appearance today?
We are, Judge. He's still over at the annex.
Okay, then we have to. No worries. Okay, what are we talking about in this case? Has the deal gotten any better, any worse? What are we talking about?
The rec is the same as it was before, Your Honor. I believe it's 10 TDC.
Oh. He has an extensive record. Yeah.
Your Honor, this is the case. If you'll remember, it's the
Remind me, I don't.
the mother, the mother and the son, they testified.
Oh, yes, the bond hearing, they beat him up, they came back, she watched them beat up her son. Okay, I agree. I agree. Mr. Hicks,
Judge, this is the case where we talked about the last time we were here that the really culpable people have already pled to 10 TDC, and I was telling Mr. Martinez that that's fine, but if he wants my guy to plead, he's got to plead to something in line with what my guy did, which was not in line with what the culpable people did, the guys that actually beat up the couple. So if they want to stay with that, that's fine. We'll just go to trial. My guy's not. He wasn't one of the guys that beat up the couple, and certainly the guys that beat up the couple deserve a very harsh sentence. But all the evidence that I've seen in the file, anyway, point to my guy having been an accessory after the fact. They could probably tie him in as a party after the fact, but not to actually fisticuffs on the couple. So on the man and his mother. So
Duque Perez, one of the ones that came back, because I know they left and then they came back again. Mr. Martinez, so Duque Perez was not there at the time of all of the beatings and all of that?
Well, I think what he's getting at is it doesn't look like Mr. Duque Perez was the individual that punched the mom, right? That seems to be the co-defendant in the case. But he did for sure. He was a party to this robbery. I mean, this burglary. No doubt about it.
He was there.
I understand what Mr. Hicks is saying, that he wasn't. It doesn't seem like he was the individual that punched mom in the face. That seems to be correct.
Okay, I understood Mr. Hicks from you saying that, because I remember they left and they came back. So you said that he wasn't involved. He was involved post altercation. So I thought he wasn't there at the time of the beating.
The allegation is that a group of men beat up the son, and then they left and they came back,
Right.
and then one of them punched mom.
And then they stole stuff from the storage shed.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, it's right. The order, but
okay.
yeah, you're right. He's correct in the sense it doesn't seem like Mr. Duperes, but like I said, that's the theory, right? He is a party to this offense under the law. He's just as culpable.
Okay, but is Mr. Hicks right that he wasn't involved in the first visit? He was involved in the second visit? That's how I understood.
No, he was, Your Honor.
In the first visit too. Okay.
No, I don't think that you have my guys actually being involved in the beating of either the male or the female. I think you have my guy as being part of the getaway crew and also in possession of some of the stolen property. I think that's what the facts will bear out, at least everything that I've read so far. I don't think that you have anyone that's pointing the finger at my guy and saying, I'm picking him out of a photo lineup as one of the people that beat me, either the male or the female, saying that. So I don't think that you have my guy as being involved in the physical beating. I think that the confessions and the co-conspirator statements have my guy participating in the fleeing, helping in the fleeing from the incident and in the possession of the stolen property afterwards. But I don't think you have my guy in the actual beating of anyone.
Well, I think that's the way the evidence will play out. I understand what he's saying is that it's not crystal clear, but I think the evidence is clear that more than one individual was involved in the assault on the son. But that's besides the point. Mr. Hicks, if you talk with your client and you can come to me with what you believe to be a reasonable rec, let me know. I mean, talk with your guy, see what's reasonable to him, and then we'll go from there. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then if you can't reach, do we set the, well, if you can't reach an agreement, then we just put it on the trial docket at that point. Do you think there's any value in one more settlement conference, gentlemen, or you guys?
I do, Your Honor. I think it's possible. I just, just
right. Okay.
to see where we're both at.
Mr. Hicks, you think there's some value for one more settlement conference? You can't do it, then we put it on the trial.
Judge, the reality is we're not going to be going to a jury trial until, September, October, maybe even November at this rate. So it doesn't hurt us to go to another settlement conference just because we have time.
Exactly. That's what we've got on our hands, is plenty of time now. Excellent. Very good. We'll set it up in another 30 days. We'll give you notice, Mr. Hicks, okay? Thank you. Mr. Martinez, thank you. You all may be excused.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Jesse Gutierrez, that's public defender. Is that you, Mr. Vasquez?
That's me, Your Honor. Felix
Very
Castañon.
well, Mr. Castañon. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-5166 and 5710. The state of Texas versus Jesse Gutierrez. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Felix Castañon for Mr. Gutierrez, and I spoke to him earlier, and so I'm asking if I could waive his presence, Your Honor.
So waived, absolutely. What are we talking about here?
Your Honor, the last rec on this case was a 5 TDC.
Has it gotten any better, or that's going to be the last?
I did speak with Mr. Castañon, and I guess I didn't officially relay this, but it would be 5 TDC on cause number ending in 5166, and then dismissing 5710. It's the same CW.
Okay, that's better, Mr. Castañon. What are you thinking?
Your Honor, so it is the same CW on both cases, and I think I'll run it by my client, obviously, but I think in this case, and I think they could make one case and then possibly, the other one's a triable case, and so I'll run that by my client, but I don't know if he'll take that, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you made a counter offer yet, or you haven't? Because
I will, Your Honor. I will.
Okay,
I definitely
make a
will.
counter offer. One counter offer, then it doesn't work, then we put it on the trial track. Should we do another settlement conference, 30 days, 45 days?
I think so, Your Honor. And like I
One
said,
more.
I'll sit down and we'll discuss it,
Right.
Mr.
Please.
Nunez and I, because
Please. Engage in meaningful discussion to try to settle. If not, then we just put it on the trial track, and then I don't waste you guys' time anymore on that case. We know it's going to have to be tried, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you all. 30 days, you all may be excused. Mr.
David?
David,
I have a Jennifer Cardenas. I sent a chat to earlier. I haven't gotten a response from a Jennifer Cardenas. She's on mute.
Ms. Cardenas, let me see. Ms. Cardenas.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms.
This is Christopher Gaitan.
Christopher Gaitan, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Go ahead and put yourself back on mute, and we'll call you in a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. The next one is Danielle Glover, 2019-6191. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Judge, David Rutledge is there, but he kind of looks, there he is.
Mr. Rutledge, are you there, sir?
I am. I was sleeping.
Oh my God.
I'm awake now.
Okay, sir. Remember when
I
a
think
court
my
of
client should be here too.
we are in we are in a court of law, so nobody should be sleeping. Okay, Miss Glover, do you see and recognize your attorney as your attorney in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And Mr. Rutledge, do you see and recognize Miss Glover as your client and the attorney in this case as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what are we talking about with Mr. Rutledge's client?
Your Honor, I believe the last time we spoke, we were trying to get the rec down from what it previously was, and we ended up coming up with if Ms. Glover could come up with $3,000 in restitution, which is half of what is owed, total being $6,000, and we would offer probation, and it would basically be $83 a month until she finishes paying the other half of the $3,000.
How much probation time?
I believe it was 3 years, Your Honor. That equates to $83 a month.
Straight or deferred?
Straight, Your Honor.
Straight, did you say?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Rutledge, what are you thinking about that deal?
It's better than it was. I'd like to see what this restitution is. Have they got anything from a body shop or something?
Mr. Nunez, where did you come up with the $6,000 in restitution?
I believe that wasn't just speaking with the CW, Your Honor. I mean, I'd have to go look exactly where that number came up from, but I know that that's what we discussed at the last hearing.
Okay, well.
I mean, I couldn't tell you if it's from a body shop or if that's what the CW said or if it's Blue Book. I couldn't tell you right now at this time. I just know that that number popped up at the last setting.
Okay. Mr. Rutledge, I'm going to ask you, before Mr. Nunez does some serious investigating and some, you know, some work, is this something, if they prove however much in restitution, is this deal you pay half and then you get the rest in monthly payments on probation straight? Is that something that you and your client would consider, Mr.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. So I think it will be worth your while, Mr.
What I don't understand is where this amount came from. Because I've been told that there wasn't any damage to the car and the car wasn't. She wasn't the one that took the car. And I don't know what happened to the other person that actually took the car. I don't know if they ever prosecuted her in New Mexico or not.
Okay. Did they recover the car, or why $6,000?
Yeah.
Was it wrecked?
Yeah.
Was
No.
it wrecked?
No, they were driving across the bridge.
And it was not wrecked? Why $6,000 then? If it wasn't wrecked and it was returned, Mr. Nunez, do you know?
I'm looking at it right now, Judge, and according to the CW, she said that they destroyed the Hummer. What you know, and I don't know what context that is, but $6,000 for a destroyed Hummer per CW.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you can work a little bit on that restitution to prove it to Mr. Rutledge, right? If she has pictures, or if she has repairs, or if she can just explain to you the story, maybe
Receipts would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever she's
estimates.
got, yeah. Whatever she's got is proof, Mr. Nunez. Can you try to get that? To try to
Yes,
show
Your Honor.
Rutledge? Okay. So you want to set this up for 30 days, 45 days? How much time do you want, Mr. Nunez, to get that?
30 days, Your Honor.
30 days. Okay. 30 days it is. Settlement conference. Anything else, Mr. Rutledge?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Mr. Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Thank you all. You may be excused. Be safe out there, Mr. Rutledge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you, Ms. Glover. You may be excused. Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. At this time, roll call is cause number 2020-426, Clayton Berry. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Mr. Cianes, there you go. Announce.
Gabriel Cianes for Mr. Clayton Berry.
And I think Mr. Clayton Berry is present with us, is he?
Yes,
Mr.
yes, Your Honor.
Berry, where are you? Talk to me, Mr. Berry.
I'm present here.
Very good. Do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Cianes, as your attorney in this case, Mr. Berry?
I do, yes, Your Honor.
Very good. And Mr. Berry, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
I do.
Very good. Thank you. Let the record reflect that both parties have recognized each other. You may did a funny face, Mr. Berry, so you kind of threw me off guard.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, you did a funny face like,
Sorry about
I'm
that.
thinking, what the heck is he questioning? What the heck is going on in his mind? So you kind of threw me off, sir, but everything okay with you?
Yeah, I thought you might have called my attorney by my name, but that's all.
I don't think I did. Did I, Mr. Cianes? Did I call you by Mr. Berry?
You didn't, Judge.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this case to settle this case for Mr. Cianes. Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer on the table is a 1244B, 1 year deferred, $50 fine.
How much fine?
$50, Your Honor.
Okay.
50 hours of community service, drug counseling, UABA, rules of curfew.
Well, Mr. Cianes, that doesn't sound too bad. What are you thinking, Mr. Cianes?
I'd like to submit a pretrial diversion request, Your Honor, to the ADA. It is his first arrest. He shows no prior criminal history. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, so you're gonna ask for what? Better than 1244B 1 year deferred? What do you ask?
Yeah, right. I'm trying to get him into the pretrial diversion program.
Okay, we really don't have a pretrial diversion in felony court.
Okay.
And he's already getting 1 year deferred, so that's why I'm asking how, I think really, Mr. Shianes, this is as good as it's gonna get. It is deferred, it's not a felony conviction, and I think you offered, Mr. Nunez, you offered all of that because it was a first offense,
Yes, Your Honor.
right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Shianes, I'm gonna set this up for one more settlement conference in 30 days. I think it's such a good offer. You need to talk to Mr. Nunez. Maybe it can be a little bit better, but I don't see how it could.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. And then just so I'm clear, Your Honor, I'm not very experienced as far as the defense in felony court here in El Paso, but
Yes, sir.
is it this court, I guess, standing order that there's no pretrial diversion in this court, or?
There's no pretrial diversion in any felony court. You can get deferred, which is the pretrial diversionary program in the misdemeanor courts is really basically a 6-month program. Sometimes you don't even have to show up, right? To report, right? That's how the pretrial diversionary program works in misdemeanor courts. We don't have a similar program in the felony.
Okay.
So
I was just wondering.
Yes, sir. No worries.
Because in Houston, in felony courts, they still offer those. So I was just wondering if it was like a statutory thing.
Or if it was just me, my court personally, or no.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's no pretrial diversionary kind of equivalent in the felony courts in El Paso County.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Anything else? So work on this deal. I think maybe you can do a little bit better, maybe not, but let's see.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And yes, thank you, Mr. Berry. Thank you so much for participating. You all may be excused. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank
Judge.
you, Your Honor.
Hi, Judge.
Hi, Mr. Avelar. I'm trying to see if there's peace and quiet. There's been nothing but feedback on this Zoom hearing. So I want to make sure there's no feedback.
Well, guess who?
Hello, everyone.
Mr. Wyatt, welcome to our Zoom hearing.
Yep.
How are you?
I am here. How you doing?
We're doing great. I'm doing great. I was just telling Mr. Avelar, I've gotten lots of feedback on this Zoom hearing, so I just wanted peace and quiet to figure out who it was.
Yes.
But Mr. Wyatt, I'm doing fabulous, sir. Fabulous.
Glad to hear, Judge.
How about you?
Just dealing with the vagaries of life.
I know, and if it wasn't for the vagaries of life, you defense attorneys would not be employed at this time.
That's true. That's true.
So thank you, God, for vagaries.
Amen.
Mr. Wyatt, it's good to see you. It's always a pleasure to see Mr. Avelar, but it's
Yes,
good
ma'am.
to see you. Mr. Wyatt, you take care. Be safe, sir. Be safe.
I will. You too, Judge.
Thank you. Okay.
I left, I guess I did my 2
Have
hearings.
one
We have
more.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
Yes. Okay, we'll take care of it. It's Christopher Gaitan. Is Mr.
Yes,
Gaitan
ma'am.
present on the screen?
I know he'd been trying to call, Judge, and I guess there's been a.
Yeah, he is. He's under Jennifer.
Okay. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
There you are. I'm going to ask you to unmute Mr. Gaitan. Mr. Gaitan, I'm asking you to mute. Can you unmute, please, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. How are you today, Mr. Gaitan?
Good on yourself?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, court calls number 2020-770, the state of Texas versus Christopher Gaitan. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Daniel Avelar and Derek Wyatt for Christopher Gaitan, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Avelar and Mr. Wyatt, do you see and recognize Mr. Gaitan as your client and the defendant in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Gaitan, do you see and recognize both of your attorneys on the screen as your attorneys?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. Thank you very much. Let the record reflect that everybody has identified each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, talk to me about the offer of settlement so we can make an offer that Mr. Wyatt, neither Mr. Wyatt nor Mr. Avelar can refuse.
That's right.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe the offer on the table is to reduce the aggravated robbery down to a robbery, making it a second degree, then 2 years deferred probation, a $500 fine, 300 hours of community service, theft counseling, no contact with CW or Circle K stores.
Was this the beer run?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. And a UABA as well as a curfew.
Okay. It's a beer run, hence the 2 years deferred, and Mr. Gaitan is very young. How old are you, Mr. Gaitan?
20, ma'am.
Oh my, 20 or 21?
20.
Oh my God, you're so young. Ugh.
Judge.
You shouldn't be in a felony court, yes.
This is the one that he has a co-defendant, Pablo Rocha, that we heard last week on June 18th. Okay, and but I didn't set them together, but since he had the settlement conference, I left this one on. So
Okay.
they haven't been set together.
Next time, let's set them together because I want to make sure they get equal justice, Miss Becky. The other thing I didn't do that I was just reading on David Rutledge's client, I forgot to remind him, you put on the notes, Becky, and I didn't read it until right now. He needs to do the arraignment on her, right?
Yes, Judge, let me check to see if I send it to him and then I'll check.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't remind him and I didn't tell him anything. So please call me, Becky. I forgot. I just saw that. It says it needs to file the waiver of arraignment is what you put on the docket, Miss Becky.
Yeah, so when I put that, I probably send it to him. So let me check with him.
Okay, call him, please, and tell him the judge forgot to mention it. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wyatt, where did Mr. Wyatt go?
I'm here, Judge.
Here.
Are you
Just
going to be
stretching.
solo, Mr. Avelar, or what?
I'm here.
Okay, what about that wonderful offer that they gave you on an aggravated robbery, reduced to a second degree, and then deferred?
I can do 2 years on a misdemeanor theft and maybe some jail time. But I don't really think the state's got any real good evidence that there was a knife involved.
Oh, this was the knife. No, there was evidence. I saw it.
You saw the
Isn't it
videos,
case
Judge?
that I saw it, Mr. Avelar, or am I thinking of another case?
You're thinking of another case, Judge. So the last time we were here, Your Honor, I had pointed out to Mr. Nunez that I don't think they can make that element with regard to a deadly weapon or some kind of a knife that's used. At that
Okay, I
time,
remember. Okay. Maybe I'm getting confused with another case, Mr.
I think so, Judge.
And Your Honor, I believe the last time also we didn't have any video evidence to show defense counsel. And after the last hearing in May, we did upload 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 videos.
Right, Your Honor.
Do either of the 8 videos show some kind of?
We don't have any of them downloaded, Judge.
Same here, Your Honor. I have not even taken a look at them, to be honest. I just sent the request to my investigator and he loaded them up.
And he's got it. Okay, maybe. Do you have any other evidence of a knife that you know of right now, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor, just what it says in the police report.
Okay. Well, I think really it would behoove everybody to look at those 8 videos and see if it does identify and show a knife. If it does,
Yes, ma'am. I'm just becoming aware of the videos now, Judge.
Okay, good. Well, okay, good. Well, look at them to see if there's any evidence there of any kind of a weapon, a knife. And if not, maybe Mr. Wyatt's offer is pretty reasonable, Mr. Nunez. If it's there, then I think Mr. Nunez's offer is reasonable, Mr. Avelar. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have some work to look at the videos. Let's
do.
set this up. You want 30 days, 45 days? How much time? You have 8 videos.
45.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Settlement conference in 45 days. You have 8 videos to see. You've got a little bit of homework. Mr. Avelar, Mr. Wyatt, anything else in this case?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you for entertaining our hearing, Judge.
Thank you. Absolutely. It's always good to see you, Mr. Wyatt. Take care.
Same here, Judge.
Somebody called.
Yes, it's me. Before Mr. Avelar goes.
Yes.
Back in the end of May, you had amended his PR bond so that he would be able to reside in Carlsbad with his father, but I never got that address. So.
Okay. Are you in Carlsbad, Mr. Gaitan?
No, ma'am, I'm here in Sunland Park still where I'm living at, in El Paso.
Well, Sunland Park is not El Paso, sir. Can you give me the address you're living at?
It's the same one I have. It's 103 Linda Vista, Sunland Park, New Mexico.
103, what again?
103 Linda Vista in Sunland Park, New Mexico.
What's the zip there?
88063.
Did you get that, Mr. Castañeda?
Yes, and just to clarify, this gentleman won't be living with his father in Carlsbad, so I can remove that totally from the PR bond.
Is that right, Mr. Gaitan?
Yeah, that's right, Your Honor. 'Cause I already started working here, so I didn't left.
So you didn't
Yes,
go to Carlsbad, okay.
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Okay, sir, very good. Well, we're glad you stayed here. We're glad you found a job and started working. He's gonna reside at 103 Linda Vista, 88063, right, Mr. Gaitan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Castañeda, anything else in this case?
No, that was it, Judge. I'll send it to
Okay,
you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Avelar, anything else?
Nothing further.
Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Be
y'all.
safe.
Be safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Avelar. Freddie Torres, Public Defender, 2020-644, the state of Texas versus Freddie Torres. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Rene Vasquez for the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. You're last but never least.
Thank you for saying that, Judge.
Okay, this was, I guess, to see your rec expires today, I think is what my docket says.
Yes, Judge.
Well, first of all, first, do you waive Mr. Torres's appearance because he's not on?
I do. He's in custody, Judge. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I think this was the expiration of the rec.
Yes, Judge. And I discussed it with my client. We're gonna take the deal, Judge. We can set it for a plea.
Very good. He's in jail, right? So we can set it up for a plea on a Friday.
Yes. Yes.
We can't do
That'll
it
work,
this
Judge.
Friday? Good. Is it a time rec?
Yeah, it's a time rec. It's 4 TDC, Judge.
Okay, great. Okay, Miss Becky, let's put this on the plea list. Maybe we can fit it in next week. It really doesn't matter. He's gonna do time, so whenever, but as soon as possible, right? Thank you.
Yes, Judge. That'll work.
Thank you. Mr. Nunez, anything else in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll set it up. Thank you all. Have a great life. Goodbye.
Thank you, Judge.
Please now are being set on the 10th, Judge. Next week's a holiday.
Oh, it's a holiday again? What is it?
Yes.
Oh, what's oh God, I'm missing another Friday. Please. Sheesh. Okay.
What's the holiday?
July 4th, I think, right?
July the 3rd for the July the 4th holiday.
Can you believe that, Mr. Nunez? We're already July 4th.
It's flown by, Judge.
This pandemic started in March and the numbers keep going up and it's July.
The year's already over, Judge.
The year's over. Once 4th of July comes, Christmas is right around the corner. Done. And we have not seen a courtroom in 4 months. We've not had a jury trial. Kind of sad.
Yeah, I don't see it, Judge. Not yet.
I think, I don't know about you guys, but I think 2020 needs to hurry up and be over and done with. Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, we need to leave this year. It was
bad. We need to get
horrible.
out of this year. Let's celebrate the new year and hope for the better. Right, Mr.
Let's see what
Martinez?
disease pops up in 2021.
Stop it.
Could be even.
Stop. Stop it. No way. Stop the recording, everybody. We're done with our docket, right? Did I finish
Yes,
my
Judge.
docket?
Yes.
We did.
We're stop
If
recording.
Renee can stay on, we have some,
Mr.
have to talk to you.
Mr. Renee, we need to talk